Hello everyone, today is March 13th and it's time to start some seeds. Now I know last year I didn't make videos on starting seeds, about the garden or anything. I covered that in an earlier video. But this year I want to definitely stay documented or make documentation on my seeding, my growing, my harvesting, my marketing, try to do everything. So you guys need to keep me accountable. If you say, hey, you didn't put a video out this week, send me a message, say, hey, what's going on, buddy? Leave me a comment, say, hey, come on, get some videos pumped out. I want to really try to make some videos for you guys this year and hopefully get the viewership up, kind of more than 30 or 40 views, but it'll come. But so anyway, I want to get into it this year. I want to talk about planting seeds and my plan for this year. Now, last year, excuse me, other years, I planted tons of seeds, made tons of seedlings for myself, tons to sell at the market, and it worked okay. Last year I made a really good income off of my seedlings the first 3 weeks of the farmers market. I'm not sure how many plants I sold the first week. It must have been, I don't know, 200 plants or 300 plants. Now it doesn't seem like a lot, but for the small market that I attend, that I've been there now, this will be my 4th year, that's a lot. People came to me, they knew I was the plant guy, the seedling guy. My seedlings looked better than anybody else's, and I sold a ton. So I want to repeat that this year. So as far as seeding for the market, the amount that I'm going to do is not going to change. However, I'm going to cut back. I'm not going to do lettuce boxes. I'm not going to do herb boxes. For some reason, the last 2 years, they haven't sold. So I want to do everything in these aren't 3-inch cups, but my 3-inch cups for herbs. I have a list here of herbs I'm just going to run down that I'm going to do this year. Excuse me, I'm going to do dill, red and green basil, oregano, chive, cilantro, parsley, and then these are, I'm going to start from seed in here momentarily, and then the 3 that I don't start from seed, I get cuttings in, I do mint, rosemary, and sage. Those are ones that are a little bit trickier to seed, that are best for cuttings, so I get them somewhere locally and just kind of go off of that. So it's a little bit more of an expense, but there's what, 10 or so, whatever, herbs here that I'm going to do. I'm going to do more of those this year because they always sold well. And then I'm going to do peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, and then I'm going to do 1 batch of cole crops, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli, and some Brussels sprouts. And then obviously I do cucumbers and zucchini. And that's it. I used to do winter squash. I used to sell lettuce in containers, like 3-inch cups for people to plant out. I used to do chard and peas, all this stuff. And you know what? For what it's worth, I never made any money off of that. I did it to have stuff on the table. I used to get in onion bulbs, onion plugs, sets as they called, onion and garlic, and I try to sell them in 6-packs. And you sell a couple. But then at the end of the 3 weeks of selling seedlings, before you start getting into where seedlings are, I'm done, I'm sold out. Then I just have them, and it's such a waste. So this year I'm going to cut back on a lot of things, but I'm going to increase other things. Increase what I sold most of last year, and cut out things that I barely sold. Now, as far as my own use, I'm really cutting back this year as far as gardening in general. We're in the process of buying a new farm. So hopefully next year or so we'll be moving into this. I'll have a big greenhouse. I'll take you guys along for all that, but that'll be a year from now. So don't get too crazy wanting to know stuff about that right now. It's just in the works. There's nothing finalized. We're just in the process of starting to do that. But of course, once it happens, I'll take you guys over there and show you if it works out. But anyway, so last year I grew things like winter squash, and I did try to do onions and did chard and kale and all these things that barely sold. Now, one thing that I did do that I'm going to continue to do this year and try to perfect is more hydroponics. Now, a lot of people shy away from hydroponics because it's a big infrastructure cost up front. I'm not buying stuff from American Hydroponics where the rails are $35 a piece. I'm buying downspouts that are $13 a piece, drilling holes and kind of doing it kind of do-it-yourself way. For now. And last year I had that video that I posted a few weeks ago about that. That was my first year ever doing them, and I had success with that. Even though I didn't start things directly in rock wool, I transplanted from dirt, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going to try to perfect that this year. So go from having, say, 15 completed rails up to about 50. And I'm going to try to grow things like chard and kale. I want to try live herbs, cilantro, basil, maybe even parsley, celery, which is an herb by the way, but those type of things, and of course your different types of lettuce. I always have been using the Salanova lettuce. A lot of people poo-poo that because it's too expensive, or because it's like the in thing or name brand thing or whatever, but I had success with that last year, so I'm going to grow it this year. I do 8 different kinds, 4 red, 4 green, various different leaf types. I'm going to do it again this year. I am going to branch out and try different other types just to see what happens, but I'm going to go with what worked last year, and if it continues to work, I don't mind the expense. And as far as a tip there is, you know what, just because someone else says something is too expensive for you to use, they're not paying for it. So if it works for you, do it. That's my advice. So anyway, that's kind of the overview of what I'm planning this year as far as seedlings. Oh, sorry, I guess I jumped ahead a bit. So I'm going to do a lot more of the hydroponic stuff. I'm going to try to do some hydroponic peppers, not in these rail systems, but in PVC pipes, which I kind of started last year. It didn't end up working out. My reservoir was too small. My pump kept running out of water, like the reservoir pumped out, and it just wasn't working. This year, I have a little bit more knowledge. I'm not going to be as rushed. I'm going to try to do it from start to finish, which of course you don't want to take you guys along, unless it's a huge fail, and then you're not going to see any of it. But anyway, just try to get stuff like that, because I see the future of my farming is a lot of hydroponics. Now, I've watched a lot of videos from a couple people. This guy named Chuck down in the States, I'm not sure exactly where he's from, down in the States somewhere, and he does a lot of hydroponics. He's done aquaponics, he's done hydroponics, he's done all these he's done a lot of trial and error things. I'm not going to be doing that amount. I'm going to stick with the NFT rail system, which I'll go into more detail when I start doing it kind of full time, or when I start doing it. Go with that. And then these other people I want to give a shout out to is Patty and Wayne from Spring Hill Farms up in North Bay. Actually up in Trout Creek, North Bay, north of me about, I don't know, 2.5 to 3 hours. I'm hoping to make a trip up there this year to kind of check out their operation. They have a huge greenhouse where they have lettuce and they do greens, and a lot of things that I want to try to do, they do, and they perfect it. And I want to give it thanks to Patty for sure, because she's really given me some information over the last few weeks, last couple months really. I've had tons of questions. Some I'm sure are stupid, but I had a lot of questions. She helped me out with that. So I'm going to try to not replicate what they do, but take some of their, both people really, take some of their knowledge and make it adapted to what I want to do. So anyway, guys, that's an overview of kind of my thought. But stay tuned for the next few videos coming out. I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to do some seeding of peppers, eggplants, herbs, tomatoes, and everything. And I'll definitely take you with. Thanks for watching.